When modern life sweeps us into endless busyness, have you ever wondered what is really happening in your mind from moment to moment throughout the centuries? There have been those who listen to the whispers of time to better understand the mysteries of their minds. Let us explore these stories, listen to the voices of time, and gain a deeper understanding of the mysteries within each person's mind. Life is like an endless flow, and within that movement, our minds are always busy with thousands of thoughts, worries, expectations, and fears. But if we can pause for a moment and listen to what is happening inside, perhaps we will find profound answers for ourselves. Stories from ancient times, from east to west, remind us of the power of the mind and the ability to understand ourselves through introspection. Buddha Shakyamuni and listening to the mind. Long ago, Buddha Shakyamuni chose a path different from what secular life offered. He left the palace, abandoning wealth and power to seek the truth about suffering and happiness. One of the most crucial moments in his journey was when he meditated under the Bodhi tree for 49 days and nights. It was a journey during which he faced all aspects of the mind: desires, anxieties, fears, illusions, hopes, and even pride. When confronted with challenges from Mara, the embodiment of temptation and distraction, he did not react. He simply observed the thoughts that came and went without judgment or attachment. Through this journey, Buddha realized that suffering does not come from the outside world, but from our own minds. Suffering is the result of clinging to thoughts and emotions, the result of ignorance and misunderstanding about the nature of existence. Buddha showed that only when we learn to observe the mind with mindfulness can we truly understand it and find true peace. One of the important lessons from Buddha's story is about mindfulness. Mindfulness is not about avoiding negative emotions or thoughts, but about observing them without being influenced. This is very different from our usual attempts to suppress or control our thoughts. Mindfulness is the way to live with all experiences without being drawn in or repressed. In modern life, we are often caught up in worries, expectations, and pressures from work, family, and society. Sometimes these worries and negative thoughts become the source of anxiety and suffering. If we can learn to listen to our minds as Buddha did, we will find peace even in seemingly chaotic moments. Sitting down, observing the mind without judgment, helps us understand that everything is temporary. And true peace does not come from the outside, but from how we perceive the world around us. A typical example of practicing mindfulness in modern life is the method of mindfulness meditation. Many people have applied this method to cope with stress, anxiety, and the challenges of life. When we can sit down, observe our breath, and feel our bodies, we begin to listen to the whispers of time, listen to the mind without letting it control us. Buddha found enlightenment by doing this, and we, though not following the path of an enlightened being, can still find our own peace. Socrates and the journey of self-reflection. Socrates, the ancient Greek philosopher, is famous for saying, "An unexamined life is not worth living." For Socrates, questioning and reflecting on oneself was the foundation of understanding and happiness. He spent his entire life asking profound questions, not only for himself, but for everyone he met. Socrates did not provide answers. Instead, he asked questions for his interlocutors to find their own solutions. This was a fascinating and thought-provoking educational method, helping people delve deep into their minds and understand the core values of life. A prime example of Socrates' approach is his dialogue with Alcibiades, a young man full of ambition and conceit. Socrates asked Alcibiades questions about happiness, the true meaning of power and status. These questions made Alcibiades think and realize that what he pursued might only be superficial values. Through self-questioning, Alcibiades began to understand himself and the true purpose of life better. Socrates believed that the human mind is not just a place for receiving information, but also the source of understanding when we know how to dialogue with it. He encouraged people to constantly ask questions and reflect on themselves. This is like returning to oneself, listening to the inner voice, not to find a right or wrong answer, but to understand oneself and what one is pursuing more deeply. In modern life, Socrates' teachings remain valuable. We often get caught in the endless race of work and material goals, forgetting to reflect on the true values of life. Asking ourselves questions like, what truly brings me happiness? Or, am I living the life I want? Or just meeting others' expectations? Can help us find balance and realign our lives. In many cases, successful people feel empty because they never questioned the values they were pursuing. They achieved their goals without understanding why those goals mattered to them. Only through introspection and continuous self-dialogue can we find sustainable happiness. This is part of mastering the mind, understanding, and being conscious of every decision we make. Miyamoto Musashi and mastering the mind. Miyamoto Musashi, one of Japan's most famous swordsmen, was not only known for his exceptional swordsmanship, but also for his profound philosophy on life and the mind. Musashi spent many years training not only to perfect his combat skills, but also to understand himself. In his book, The Book of Five Rings, Musashi shared that the greatest victory is not defeating an opponent, but conquering oneself, overcoming fears, worries, and doubts. Musashi participated in many duels against opponents with superior skills, but what made him legendary was his ability to keep his mind calm in all situations. He did not let emotions like anxiety or fear dominate him. Instead, he focused on mastering his mind to achieve absolute control. He once said, "If you know how to master your mind, there is no fight you cannot win." This applies not only to sword duels, but is also a valuable lesson for everyday life. Musashi pointed out that in life, we constantly face difficulties and challenges. Negative emotions such as worry, fear, or anger can cause us to lose clarity. But if we can keep our minds calm, unaffected by these emotions, we can make wiser decisions, act more effectively, and easily overcome any challenge. A real-life example in modern times is when we face pressures from work or family. Many people often feel anxious, stressed, and out of control. However, if we learn to master our minds, as Musashi did, we can remain calm and focus on what is important. That is how we not only overcome difficulties, but also turn them into opportunities for growth. Musashi also emphasized that mastering the mind is not only about controlling emotions, but also about understanding and accepting oneself. He believed that everyone has strengths and weaknesses, and only when we accept both can we truly grow. This can be applied to modern life, where we face societal pressures to always be perfect and successful. Accepting oneself and understanding one's strengths and weaknesses is the key to living peacefully and freely. Musashi left behind not only unparalleled swordsmanship, but also lessons on mastering the mind, overcoming all difficulties with serenity and mindfulness. These are values that each of us can apply to find peace in this ever-changing world. What do you think about what has just been shared? Have you ever listened to the whispers of your own mind? Have you ever paused to ask what is really happening in your mind? Please share your thoughts below. I would love to hear about your journey of exploring the mind. We can learn from historical stories, from people who spent their entire lives understanding and comprehending their own minds. And perhaps, in this hectic modern world, taking the time to listen to ourselves, to the whispers of time, is the key to finding true peace and happiness.